Hello, Capricorn, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of January 18th through the 24th. And during that time, we have a new moon that comes in on the 19th. And of course, that's a time for a fresh start, new beginnings, a good time to learn a new skill or start any of those projects, things that we wanted to change inner or outer, whatever that might be for you. We then move into the waxing crescent energy for the rest of the week. And of course, that's a time of just heightened senses when we feel like, we're ready to accomplish things. It's a good time to live up to your expectations and those intentions that you've set during the new moon. So keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for the energies that you may or may not encounter, Capricorn. So, as always, please take what resonates today and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading: a time to give rather than take. All right, let's see what the Capricorn Collective has going on for the week. And as I'm shuffling the tarot, my fun weekly reminder for you this week is that you take the time to learn something new. Oftentimes as adults, we forget to really deep dive and learn a thing. I mean, I feel like I'm learning trivial things every day, or I'm paying attention to something that I probably shouldn't be, like the news or something like that. World events, yawn. I know, I asked one of my kids the other day if they were following some story. Actually, I think a couple of them. And their answer was no, I don't know what's going on. And I was like, oh, can I please live in your blissful ignorance for a little bit? And I need to do that. It's just, anyway, I ramble, but we can do that by taking the time to get our nose into a book of something we wanted to learn, or watching a lecture, listening to a podcast while you're cleaning house, whatever it is to learn something. But take the time to really deep dive on something that you've had some interest in and just learn something new this week. It's just fun, and we don't do it enough. So all right, let's get into this reading. Capricorn, January 18th through the 24th. A time to give rather than take. And your overall present energy right now is the Six of Cups. So there may be something coming in for you from your past. This is typically a card of nostalgia. It makes us think about, people from our past, childhood friends, family members, things going on. I can get lost in nostalgia so much, just thinking about, friends from the past, people that I, live states away now that I don't see anymore. And, sometimes those are just good thoughts. So if it's time to give, you might have a friend from your past that maybe needs something from you this week, maybe just a phone call, or you see that they're going through something on social media or something. So reach out if you need to. Make sure that you are in that giving mode for them. All right, your current situation is the Five of Wands. So there may be some sort of debate or something going on, and if it's a time for you to give, this doesn't have to be fighting. This can just be friendly debate. I like to point out that nobody in this card is dressed the same way, literally from head to toe. And there's a little debate going on. And don't you just want to jump in the middle and say, stop? Can't we all just listen to each other? That's what I think when I see this card. Stop. Okay, what did you want to say? One at a time, right? So make sure you're taking that time to listen. If it's a time for you to give, sometimes giving means just zipping it and let's listen. What's someone else's opinion on this? All right, at the root of your situation this week is the Death card. So it could be that you are having to deal with something that from your past. It may be that you're seeing someone because you are at a funeral. It could be an actual death, but many times the Death card isn't about that. It's about something that you're letting go of, some ending that you're going through, and maybe it is making you feel nostalgic. And there's some debate about something that you're letting go, and you're deciding, I'm just not going to be this way. This could be a personal transformation that you're going through, that you decide, I'm not going to be like this anymore. I'm going to start a new path. It could be something big because it's a major arcana, usually is kind of a bigger ending. Tens are endings too. And of course, but this one, it's almost, it's a little bigger than normal. It's something that you're done with. You're either, it could be so many things. In your recent past here is looking back. This is our Wounded Warrior card here. The Nine of Wands is kind of looking back and evaluating, where have I been? And we do this a lot of times before big endings too. and before we make big decisions about that, is thinking, where have I been? Do I want to go back there? Is that how I want to do that? How did I get where I am here today? And what mistakes have I made to decide that I do need to make a change? So that's kind of this card of evaluation. Looks like you've just been through that. And of course, here we are at the first of the year. And I keep talking about how we're in a numerology 1 year, which is about new beginnings. And I've seen a lot of that in the readings, but I'm also just seeing it in my life, people around me. I'm seeing people change. There's just as a new feeling. There's a lot of change going on. And I do feel like we're going to be on the edge of our seat a little bit this whole year. But you've got something that you've been evaluating, debating, and this could just also be just debating within your own mind. And it looks like you are going to take the step to make that change. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see the Fool card enter into this picture on this reading, maybe even next week. That you're in that mode of like, I'm done being this way, and you're looking forward to making some kind of change. What is on your mind this week is the Lover's card. So this could be some change within a relationship. This could be ending a relationship for some of you. This could be beginning a relationship for some of you. It doesn't have to be, an ending could be the end of being single, and you just might be debating, is it time for me to just, am I going to take the next step on this relationship? So again, it could be an ending of that, but it could be an ending of being single. You might be entering into a relationship. You may have met someone or been involved with someone that you're just wondering, should I take this to the next level? And it could be too that you want to, if you've been in a relationship for a long time, there might be some arguing and whatever, and maybe you do think do need to make some changes so that we can make our life better together. Just positive changes. Every relationship needs a little facelift every once in a while, where you kind of go in and evaluate, hey, is everybody happy here? What's going on? Do we need to do more of this, less of this, whatever? We all need to take the time to evaluate those types of things. What is just ahead of you this week is the sun. So whatever it is, I think you're going to be happy about the decision. I mean, that's the happiest card in the deck. Look, we've gone from, the dark death and doom marauder down here to like, oh, it's the sun. So I feel like whatever this thing is that you decide to put behind you with this death card, this new beginning that you're choosing is going to make you happier. And I think instantly. I don't think it's going to take too long to do. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Fool card, maybe even the Magician, pop out on this reading or readings coming up. So we'll see. In your advice position is the Hierophant. Okay, perfect. So this is a card of seeking out some guidance as you go through this. You might be talking to people around you, people with more wisdom. You might be talking to someone from your past, or this could be someone from your past. That would be interesting. Or you've been together so long that is your past, right? But you're seeking out some sort of guidance. And like I said about learning something new, this could be, if you've been in a relationship forever, maybe you pick up a book about relationships, how to be great at being married if you've been together for 100 years, or, you're planning a proposal. So it just kind of depends on where you are in your cycle of life. Of course, tarot is a template, but I do feel like, these are the energies, and it could apply in so many different ways for so many different Capricorns. But the advice is to go ahead and seek that guidance, to seek that advice. This could be why you're at a tarot reading, but it could be that you want to pick up a book. You may want to talk to a pastor at your church and say, yeah, we're ready to do this, and how do we start this process? And so think about that. Typically this can be in the spiritual area, whereas the Hierophant is seeking like spiritual guidance to make sure that you're on the right path spiritually with the decisions that you're making in your life, but it could be other areas as well. All right, what is beyond your control this week is the Six of Wands, which is about people congratulating you and saying, hey, you're doing a great job. A little bit self-indulgent there, but it's a little pat on the back. It's beyond your control. It could be from this person that you are seeking guidance, who's like, look, you're doing the right thing here by seeking guidance and asking these kinds of questions. You're doing the mature, responsible thing. All right, what is your secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid, is the Hermit card. So interesting. This could go either way. This will be, are you going to go in and try to seek inner wisdom on this entire thing? Or are you trying to avoid really looking inside? That'll be your big question this week. There's no right or wrong answer. It'll be different for different Capricorns. But, the Hermit is about going within that inner searching, that inner quest, to really, and the answers are all inside of you. There's no, you might seek guidance, but really when you get down to it, these decisions are yours. Also, the hermit is only has enough light there to light the next step, the one next step. It's not like he can see what's coming a month down the road. It's just really thinking about what is my next step? Where do I put my foot next? So you need to ask yourself this question. Is it your secret desire to go within to find those answers, or are you trying to avoid this at all cost? And either, again, there's no right answer. Just make sure you understand why you've answered in any particular manner. In your outcome position, Capricorn, is the High Priestess. Interesting. So the High Priestess tells us that you do have the answers within you. You might have already dreamed about these answers. This is about trusting your intuition and knowing that, again, if you go into this hermit mode for that inner quest, you're going to come out, but you know the answers. They're inside of you. You've got the wisdom. And I want to point out how many major arcana. This is a big week for you. This is a big change for you. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 major arcana. Anytime I have 3 or more, I feel like that is kind of a big step. Like I said, it's the death card is, the tens are about endings, but the death card is like, it's a really big ending for you. You're really ending a certain phase of your life and moving on to the next. But again, I think you're going to be happy about it. And I think you know what the answers are, even though you're seeking guidance. Again, maybe that's why you're at a tarot reading. You want someone to tell you the answer, and we can't do that. Nobody knows the future, but you know what the next step is. It's inside of you, and your intuition knows. So make sure you just listen to yourself. What is hidden from you this week, Capricorn, is the Tower. And this is one of those cards. It's the best place for this card. Anytime I see, like, there's just a few cards, it's like you'd rather just not deal with that. This is the card of disruption, of just things going kaflooey. They're not going to do that this week. It's fine. This is all kind of inner work that you're doing, and it's deep. This is pretty deep inner work. It's not, this isn't your typical week. So listen, it's a new moon. It's time for a fresh start. It's a good time. It's a good time to let things go. So again, if it has something to do with a relationship and moving forward in your life, that's probably part of it that is on your mind. And it could be, how are my decisions that I'm making affecting my relationship, right? And if you need to go through some sort of transformation, some sort of new beginning that you need to do, you intuitively, you already know what that is. So make that right decision. I think you're going to feel instantly better and instantly happy about it. So let's get you a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message for Capricorn, which is a time to give rather than take, was your overall message. And I like that too. A time to give, and maybe even giving to yourself, just giving to yourself the time to make a decision. All right. Final message for you is become a clear channel. Yeah, I mean, if you need to go within, be that clear channel there through the High Priestess, trust your intuition. You already know what to do. You just have to really listen to the answer that's inside of you. All right, what do you need to do in the way of self-care, Capricorn? Self-care for Capricorn as they're having this week, which is a pretty big transformation. The card that you get is the card that says invitation. The words you speak are an invitation to life, a request to bring energy into form. Choose your words carefully. The words you speak are an invitation to life. Choose your words carefully. Very interesting, Capricorn. I don't know what you guys are going through here. There's really not even a lot of indicators. Let me stop and look. Here's what I don't see. I don't see swords on the table for you, which tells me there's not a lot of outward communication. And really, there is some thought. There is some thought going into this, of course, with this hermit and this high priestess. But again, it's not even like, it's like the things that you already know. You already know all the stuff intuitively. The only cups that I'm seeing here are these cups of nostalgia, which could mean that either this person is from your past, or you've been together so long that you've got this nostalgia going on here too. But you've been in this evaluation stage, and I'm almost like, it's like you did the evaluation, you've made the decision to end it. to end a way of being is what I mean. And that could be maybe you're ending a relationship. It could be maybe you're ending being single. It could be maybe you're ending the way this relationship is progressing. But whatever it is that you decide to change internally about yourself, you're instantly happy about it. So I do like that for you, Capricorn. So thank you so much for being here. If you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a comment down below. I do hope there was something in this reading today that you can take away and use in your life this week. Also, if you like my reading style, Capricorn, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps my channel. I really appreciate that. And come back next week and let's see where this goes. I'm very curious to see where your story heads to next week. This is a very interesting story this week. So thanks so much, Capricorn. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.